Hail to thee, my kindred. I hope you're all having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and night, wherever and whenever you are. How are you all doing? I am doing well. I ate some pizza today, because it's a Friday, so therefore, pizza day. It's not really a pizza day, it's just I had the opportunity, so I took it. As simple as that. I just exited out my god dang thing. I didn't mean to do that. Alright, so today we're gonna actually get going on Cemetery Mary because I already spoke about how I needed to get the other endings, and if I don't do so now before this next upcoming week, I probably won't get around to it in a good while. I'm hoping to at least get through today and tomorrow. It should take me just 2 days, probably, maybe 3, to get through another, route of Cemetery Mary. Get another ending. We're hanging out with the guy, I forgot his name. What was... Oh man, it's the blonde guy. It's not Eugene. I know it's not Eugene. I don't know why my brain is thinking Reginald. Reginald, that's the name. His name is Reginald. Blondie guy. So we're gonna start the game from the beginning as we do, and then just continue on from there. Seem like a solid plan? Well, it's the only plan there is, so it better come off as solid. If not, then I explode. I simply explode. There's no other option here. No other solution to our problem. Let me just check on a few things before we get started on that. Just to ensure that all is well. Okie dokie. Let's go and get here. Yay! Now the game, I'm pretty sure I have the volume on. Yep, okay. Game just doesn't play any music unless you start the game. So last time, I'm pretty sure it said we unlocked the ability to get to the true ending, but we're not going to do that now. I mean, maybe we'll do so in accident. I'm sure we'll be just fine if I just press start. I've never been to a funeral that I didn't enjoy. That is, until very recently. And I wasn't quite sure how to feel. It was a beautiful service, and one they certainly deserved. If only it had come later in their lifetime, and maybe it could have been prevented. If there wasn't a murderer in my city. That's what everyone's been saying, anyways. The Blackwood Butcher. That's what they called them, at least. It was hard not to overhear the rumors people said about them. I heard that they strike at night. I heard they only target one person at a time and don't stop until they're dead. I heard it's a ghost blindly seeking revenge. I didn't believe any of that. At least not at first. But my parents did. And because of that, they didn't like me going off to the cemetery alone. Staying until it closed. Walking home by myself in the dark. Even though it was only across the street, these rumors had made them afraid for my safety. Do you really believe they're real? I asked my father. I do, he answered. Are you really worried for me? My mother did not say anything because, as we know now, her mother is a mute. Her mother cannot speak. But that is to be expected. They thought I was a perfect target. But I still didn't believe in it. Still, they were worried about me, so they sent me off to live with my aunt and uncle and cousin. They didn't live far, and at least not anymore. They moved from their fancy home in gorgeous Hallen City to a small little cabin in the woods. I never understood why, but I never really asked about it either. My parents felt I would be safer with them. I didn't want to leave. But every day I stayed only seemed to stress them out more. So I went to make them feel better. For this first few weeks, everything was fine. I barely left the house, barely went to town anymore, and when I did, I was always with someone, taking all precautions to avoid becoming a victim of the butcher. But I still thought it was only a rumor. Even if I even if the number of deaths in our community increased, I never thought that I or anyone someone I knew would be a victim. Then that thing happened to those two, and for the first time I was worried. Shortly after that, my own parents disappeared. They weren't in the diner, nor could I contact them. Even the authorities couldn't figure it out. No one had seen them. It was as if they had suddenly vanished, as if they were killed off. I don't like to think about the possibility. Actually, well, there was always there was also that other thing that happened. Maybe I should have told the authorities about it. Or anyone for that matter. I think she's talking about the phone here, or she's getting texts from the guy that's possibly a murderer. But I was too afraid of what might happen if I did. Your parents are safe. Definitely not ominous. I think I said that exact wording before. Ah, I knew I would fall asleep if I sat down. Is it really raining outside? It wasn't supposed to rain today. The light's on outside. Is Crovin out there? I better go check. Hmm. Well, we know his aunt and uncle, well, not his aunt and uncle, our Mary's aunt and uncle are dead. So obviously, we're not gonna ask about that. Just ask about dinner. It's spaghetti. I used your favorite sauce too. Okay, I'll be inside for a second. In a second. Just let me put this out. All the food is cold. I know, I fell asleep when I made it, so I just wanted to take a seat in the living room, but it's fine. I'm not complaining. Other than that, we didn't say much, and dinner was quiet. I cleaned up most of it, but Crovin helped a little bit. After that, he went to sit in the living room. Once I finished cleaning the kitchen up, I joined him, like usual. Normally after dinner, when Crovin and I sit here together, we do something fun. Play a game on our phones together, or we get out a board a game, or we play cards. Talk about our days, or if something exciting happened. But that's when Aunt and Uncle were still alive. Rovin's been in a pretty bad mood since. Understandably. It's not as if I can blame him. I want to talk to him, but I don't really know if he's much in the mood to talk. What should I do? Go to bed because he's gonna get pissed off. I decided I'd it'd be better off. I decided I'd be better off just going to bed at this point. After a few more moments of awkward sitting, I went upstairs and headed to my bedroom. I didn't want to make Crovin angrier than I already had. I brushed my teeth and got changed into my pajamas. I stretched out on what you could consider my bed. The room I have in the cabin is nice. It's not like my room back in my actual home, but I've stayed here so long I've been able to decorate it a bit more to my liking. It's a pleasant room to stay in even if it's not quite home. And of course, I don't normally sleep right away. I usually read a book, or watch a movie on my laptop, or lie awake thinking of every embarrassing thing that's happened in my life. Same. But as of recently, I've picked up a different nighttime ritual. Yeah, talking to strangers on the cell phone. who are definitely not murderers. I swear. One person, one that's nowhere near as pleasant. The text message I had received the days following my parents' disappearance. It was from a number I didn't recognize. Your parents are safe, it said. I know I should have done something smart. I should have told somebody. Instead, I texted the number back, and they responded to me. I've noticed that other than the first message, they usually don't reach out to me. It's me who keeps texting them and hoping to find out what's happening behind all this. Are you still awake? I'm awake whenever you want to talk. Ah, are my parents still alright? I don't know if these specific nighttime conversation decisions matter. And we may as well save from the first start here. So, there we go. Return. Are my parents alright? Yes. I'm keeping a careful eye on them. How can I be so sure you even have them? What if you're just trying to prank me? Why would I do that? Because I'm hoping it's a prank. I'm sorry, it isn't a prank. And I can promise that it's all real. How do you even get my number? Your parents gave it to me. Why would they do that? Because they care about you? You must be lying to me. My parents wouldn't do something like that. I'm sorry, you don't know your parents as well as you think you do. What does that mean? Seriously, you're freaking me out. I just want my parents back. Please don't drag this out. I just want them back home. You should get some rest. It's late, isn't it? I'll talk to you tomorrow. Sure thing. I don't like to text for too long. Until then, goodbye. Goodbye. And that's the first conversation. You get a whole little. You get the vibe that this guy is. Well, I think it's a guy. Is just odd. You know, if the whole I have your parents with me spiel didn't signal any red flags. Let me drink some tea to lubricate my mouth. That's a weird way of putting it, but that is what you do. They suggested I get some sleep. But how did they expect me to do that? I had never felt more restless in my life. Even asleep. I knew I wouldn't rest. When I woke up the next morning, Croven had already left for the day. But that wasn't a surprise. He had been staying out late and leaving super early ever since the incident. I think being home bothers him. I'm not surprised. Whenever I pass the dinner, I too feel like not being there. It's not the same without mom and dad after all. Despite the cabin being out in the middle of the woods, it really isn't all that hard to get back to Blackwood. Blackwood is still a bit of an odd name. I mean, maybe not so much, but in my brain it is. Outside of our cabin is a faint dirt trail. It gets a bit twisty at some parts, but isn't too confusing. It takes about 15 minutes to walk down, but maybe 10 if you're fast. At the end of the trail, there's a fence. One with a slight gap in it. You know, this picture now reminds me of some emotes I've seen where it's like the lurk emote. It's just a person peeking behind like a wall. The and the past that past that fence, there's a little community. Is there now a little community? She says, a little community. Do something. Gotta check on something real quick. Okay. It isn't big. A few trailers and with a few people living all the way out here. Far from anything that's, well, anything. But there's a road here and a bus that comes through. It runs through Blackwood. So whenever you need to leave, we take this bus. And then after the end of a short trip, You're in Blackwood. It's the city I grew up in. And I always really loved it. There's the library, the local stores, but my favorite place to be in is the Blackwood Cemetery. It's got lots of trees to read under, and the prettiest headstones I've ever seen. There's a mausoleum too, though I've never been inside. Private mausoleum, you know? I don't know who it belongs to. Anyways, I always try to leave flowers when I visit, at least every so often. And I visit a lot. I like to think it helps them, you know? Not feel lonely. And then after having spent my day in Blackwood, I come back home the same way I left. Onto the bus, through the fence, all that jazz. But I always make sure no one sees the way I came back home. Just in case, you know? We know. Dot dot dot. Almost choked on my drink. More dots. Despite the recent events, I too leave the cabin more than ever now. Crovin is rarely home, and I don't like being here alone. I know I'm just being paranoid. I'm just being paranoid, but I don't like the thought that maybe the butcher could find me out here all alone. That's an understandable thought process, I would think. Even if that's the whole reason I'm here in the first place. So I go out a lot now. And I feel more comfortable surrounded by lots of people. Despite how things may seem, I always prefer to be around people anyways. There's one reason why I like to go to the cemetery so that's one reason I like to go to the cemetery so often. There's always people there, even if you can't see them. I think I said it before and I'll say it again. Mary, that's a little fucking creepy. You're not wrong, but it's a little creepy because you're talking about dead bodies. After I go out of bed, I made myself a small breakfast and got changed into my favorite outfit. Croven's gone, and the bus I take to town should be arriving any minute now. Where should I go today? To the cafe, no, the library, because that's where we met the blonde guy, Reginald. I decided to go to the library. There's nothing quite like a good book. My favorite kinds of books are mysteries. Not necessarily murder mysteries, but mysteries in general. In fact, I kinda prefer it when the mysteries don't involve anyone dying. There's a lot less tension there, you know? But maybe I'm just too soft. A little. A teeny tiny bit. A soft-hearted individual. I also quite enjoy manga. Especially the shoujo kind. I feel almost embarrassed to like them, but I find that they're cute and nice. And I like seeing characters fall in love. Yeah, a shoujo. Maybe that's what I'll try to find in the library today. I stepped into the library and began to make my way over to my favorite spot. A tucked away corner in the library, right by a window. A single window. A window that's single. Sometimes I'd spend an entire day in that corner just reading. I've even managed to finish entire books without leaving the library. I kinda doubt that, but I mean, perhaps she's a fast reader. I looked forward to doing something like that again today, but when I got to my favorite spot, I noticed the man was already sitting there. I was surprised because usually this library was pretty empty. But this man, he's familiar. I've met him before. Oh, my apologies. Did I steal your seat? Oh, it's you. Mary. Marianta, yes? That's right. I remember you. From the funeral, right? Indeed. Do you remember my name? Reginald? That's right. It's a pleasure to see you here. I was hoping I'd run into you again one day. Oh? I hope that doesn't come off as weird. You were just such a pleasant person to be around. You really brought life into that funeral. Oh, really? Th- Thank you, I think. So, what brings you to the library today? Oh, well, I didn't really have plans, so I thought that I'd just check out a book or something. Likewise. What kind of book are you interested in checking out? Do we lie? Do we tell the truth? Last time we told the truth and it didn't really matter. Overwrite that. We're gonna be 100% honest with the stranger. Nothing can go wrong. I'm actually here to look for a shoujo manga. A shoujo manga? What's that? Oh, it's like, do you know what a manga is? I have an idea, but I can't say I've read one for myself. Well, it's like one of those, but it's usually centered around romance between the two main characters. And sometimes they're like friends or rivals. But I really like the comedy ones because they get cute jokes mixed into the romance. But sometimes the dramas ones are really cute too, and they can get really intense. And, sorry, I'm rambling. I'm not good at explaining things. No worries, I think you did a good job. A shoujo. That sounds interesting. Perhaps I'll check one out for myself later. I'm trying to be more open to new things after all. Anyways, what are you here to read? Me? I'm reading Manslaughter on the Disorient Locomotive. Oh, I've been meaning to read that one too. Do you want it then? What? Oh, no, no, that's okay. Please take your time. Just, if you wouldn't mind, would you tell me when you're done with it? You know, so that I could maybe read it after. I'm fine with that. Though I've already gotten pretty far in it, and I don't think I'll be finished by today. You have a cell phone, yes? Would it be alright if I have your number? That way I can notify you as soon as I'm finished. And, well, I'd like to try and be friends too, if that's alright. Oh, really? I mean, yeah, of course. Reginald and I exchanged phone numbers. As you do. With people you just met. Could not finish that sentence in time. Or, together. I was already shocked when he even remembered me. But I had considered meeting him again a pleasant surprise. One I really appreciated. After our exchange, I picked out a shoujo book from one of the shelves and began to read it in one of the other spots in the library. I ended up liking it so much, I looked for the other books and brought 2 or 3 home that to read later. 2 or 3, she says, as if she doesn't remember. After I came home, had dinner, and cleaned the kitchen up, I began my usual nighttime routine. I got changed into pajamas, brushed my teeth, sat on my bed, and texted whoever they are. Hi, it's me again. Are you there? Yes. You're still not going to tell me anything, are you? No. Can I ask you something? Even if you won't give me an honest answer anyways? Okay. Are you the Blackwood Butcher? Would I tell you if I was? Are you afraid for their safety? Of course, why wouldn't I be? I see. Why do you have them? I wouldn't put it like that. I don't own them after all. Even if they are in my keeping for now. You're way too vague. Why do you even contact me to begin with? I thought you'd like to know about your parents. I'm only trying my best to keep you happy. You think I'm happy? Maybe not now, but you will be. I have to go now. Goodbye. Goodbye. I remember that in the last playthrough, we really did not get any clues as to who the hell the phone person could be. Except maybe Reginald, but that's only because of some prior game I played that had the same characters. Reginald is suspect off the rip. Off the rip. After another frustrating and unsettling night of text messages, I get under the covers and tried my best to sleep. It wasn't easy, and I had a lot of difficulty trying. I don't remember exactly when, but eventually I was able to sleep, even if not peacefully. Dad? Yes, sweetheart? Um, yes? Is something wrong? Mama told me Uncle Ray died. Did she know? Did she now? Are we going to see him? No, no. You don't need to worry about that. I don't? But... Listen, Mary. Normally when someone passes, you hold a funeral for them, right? Yeah. But the thing about funerals, though, is that they're for people who are worth remembering. Which is kind of a dark thing to say, not gonna lie. Don't know what kind of what kind of message Pops is trying to send to to his daughter with that, but sure. I made myself a small breakfast and got okay, this is Croven's gone. Yeah. Where should I go today? I could go to the library again. See if the guy is there. Actually, I don't know. We might find the owl. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Library. I was just there the other day. Maybe I should try something. Okay. Okay, no choices. This is a way I meet the different characters, so I just gotta speed run through this real quick. I decided to go to the new cafe that opened up. Planet Dollar is a popular cafe chain, but we've never had one in this town. Well, until now, that is. I've always wanted to go to one just to try it, you know? Although, I don't actually like coffee. But still, I could at least see what they had, right? When I get to the cafe, it was already packed. I thought since it had already been around for a few weeks, some of the huge... What did I read that as huge? That's hype. The hype surrounding it would have died down. But I guess not, seeing how noisy and crowded it was. Still, it was... At least, it was something different from the usual. As I said, I'm not particularly fond of coffee, and since I had that light breakfast anyways, I decided to treat myself with a muffin. A chocolate muffin. Because sweet foods are the best. However, I found myself in a bit of a pinch when I tried to look for some place to sit down. It seemed as though everyone's seats were already taken, and I really didn't want to walk and eat at the same time. Luckily, though, I was able to find an empty seat. A girl around my age with the most spectacular eyebrows was diligently working on her laptop with an empty seat across from her. I figured she must be writing an essay for college or something. Coffee shops are popular with people in college, or so I heard. So I hear. I tried to say heard, but just came out with her. And forgot the D, I guess. Seeing as it was the only seat left, I asked her, "Excuse me, may I sit here?" She didn't verbally answer me. Rather, glanced over at me, rolled her eyes, and nodded to the empty chair. I tried to look apologetic as I sat. "Thank you. We know from the last run we can't trust this bitch in any way, shape, or form." Stay quiet. Stay quiet. Stay quiet. Hey. Question mark? Thanks for being quiet while I work. I appreciate it. Oh, of course, no problem. What are you working on, if I may ask? So you're interested in what I'm doing here? Well, yeah, I guess. You seem very focused after all. I say as focused as I can be. What's your name? Me? I'm Mary. Twyla, nice to meet you. Anyways, I'm working on a report. A report? For school? No. Have you noticed something odd going on in this town recently? Something odd? I'm not surprised if you haven't heard about it. It's like the police are trying to dull suspicions. Or just arrest potential suspects so everyone can feel safe. Oh, you're talking about the killing rumors. The Blackwood Butcher, right? Don't say it so loud. But, yes, how did you know? Oh, well, I've been hearing the rumors for a while now. And actually, my aunt and uncle died pretty recently. They were, killed. Really? Uh-huh. That's actually pretty... How did they die? Oh, I don't know. No one really told me, but the circumstances were strange. Like, they didn't die naturally. There was definitely someone else involved. At least that's what I've been told. Uh-huh. Interesting. Maybe you can help me with this report. And, some other stuff. Oh, I can? Yeah. If you're okay with that, of course. No, yeah, sure, I guess. I mean, having a killer around is bad, so I can help, like, raise awareness or something. I mean, like, yes, I'd like to help you. Thanks. This'll really put me ahead. I have to go, actually. I'm running late for something. Here, give me your phone number. I'm not entirely sure I'll need your help, but I'd rather have a way to contact you just in case. Oh, yeah, of course. Fuck you, Twyla. Even if you're an owl with glasses, and I really like owl gals with glasses. Fuck you. Twyla and I exchanged phone numbers. After she packed up her laptop, and was... What? Am I misreading this? Yes, I am. Afterward, she packed up her laptop and was picked up by a car outside. Come to think of it, I didn't actually see her drink any coffee or order any food. I guess maybe she finished before I got there. I don't know why she would choose such a noisy place to work, though. After spending my day looking in some nearby stores, I went home pretty tired. I ate leftovers for dinner and yawned more than once as I got changed into pajamas. I say as I myself was about to yawn. Let's see. I plopped myself into bed and pulled out my phone, ready to continue the nightly conversation. You're there, right? Of course I am. I don't know why I keep contacting you. I guess I'm just afraid if I don't, you'll disappear or something. It's unlikely. I know you won't tell me where my parents are, but can you at least tell me why you took them? No. Why not? I don't know who could be seeing these messages. I'm not showing them to anyone. You expect me to trust that? You expect me to trust you. Fair point. I really don't see how this works. How am I supposed to trust you aren't someone dangerous if you don't give me any info to go off of? Especially when I haven't even heard from my parents. Goodbye, Mary. Sleep well. Bro just dodges questions left and right. I felt sick that night and as I tried to go to sleep. I tossed and turned so many times and yet I was still too tired to get up and try and do something else. I don't remember when, but eventually I was able to fall asleep. I didn't sleep very well though. I'm not going back out there. You saw how they were looking at me? I can't do it. I can't. I'm sorry. I just... Maybe it's better if I don't anymore. And they were bully. They bullied Mary because she lived near the cemetery. Let's see Croven out there with the person he dates. I went to my favorite place, the cemetery. The cemetery is pretty much the same block as my family's restaurant. Right next to it, in fact. All you have to do is cross the street. It's on the same side of the road. I think my parents choose this location because it's good for business. And that's what my mom always told me, anyways. People are always hungry after a funeral. Crying really takes a lot out of you, after all. And I was always glad to live there, because I really loved to visiting the cemetery. I like to walk down the rows and see who got flowers that day. That's what I do most days. Sometimes I'll pick my own flowers just to leave on graves that look like they've been forgotten about. I'm actually quite known for the cemetery. Some people have even begun to use a nickname for me, though I don't know how many of them even know what I look like. When I arrived at the cemetery gates, however, I was surprised to see Croven standing there with what looked like a new friend. And he's gonna be real pissy when we start talking to him, so ready thyself for that. He's a bit of a prick for a while. Croven? Mary? Did you follow me? Huh? No, I didn't. I always come here. Yeah, but that's not usually until later. Why are you here so early? I mean, it's not as if I had anything better to do. Well, do you have to be here right now? I'm kinda on a date. Oh, this is a date? I mean, it can be if you want it to be. I'll think about it. Who's your friend? This is Vasilis. I met him at the arcade. Yo. Alright, Mary, but can you please go? I really just don't have the energy for this right now. Yeah, okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to intrude. I'll see you later. Later. See you some other life, Mary. I left Croven alone. I didn't want to interrupt his little date or whatever. His little date with Vasilis. I especially didn't want to make him more mad at me. However, I wasn't going to let him stop me from going to the cemetery. I continued past the gates and stepped inside. It seemed emptier than usual. It didn't look like any funerals were being held that day. Today. Would it be mean of me to wish there was? Yeah, I probably would be. Forget I said anything like that. It was a really awful thing to say. When nighttime rolled around, I headed back home. I slipped into my pajamas and headed to bed almost immediately. Of course, though, I couldn't sleep right away. I had someone I needed to talk to first. Phone guy. Good evening again. Good evening. May I ask you something? You always do. How do you know my name is Mary? I've always known. Huh? I've always known what your name is. Did my parents tell you? They didn't need to. I've always known who you are. How long is it? Always. Always. That's weird. I'm uncomfortable. Any updates on my parents? Oh, okay. The stuff is getting a little wonky today. Did not even realize it. We'll sit here for a little while. Let the bandwidth catch up. Okay, should be fine by now. I didn't even realize it was going haywire for a second there. My apologies. Let me try and make this visible just so that I can see it the next time around. There we go. They are fine. Will I ever see them again? Yes, because I'm coming to get you too. I just need more time. Good night, Mary. I went to sleep feeling pretty shaken that night. Yeah, man's just like, I'm gonna come get ya. Gonna get ya. Ooh, boogly boogly. I tried not to think about it. I'm surprised I was able to sleep at all. I'm surprised I didn't have any nightmares either. Uncle Cross? Yeah, Mary? Uncle Cross, can I ask a question? Sure thing, kiddo. Shoot. How did you lose your eye? Ah, Mary. That's not. It's fine, I don't mind. I lost my eye in the war. You were in a war, Uncle Cross? I was. I won't get into the specifics of it, but it was important to me that I protected my family in any way I could. Do you miss it? My eyeball? Yeah. You know something? Not as much as I thought I would. I think I would miss you bunch a lot more. I woke up the next morning. I must have been pretty tired after the last few days. I dragged myself out of bed and followed my normal routine. Got changed into my favorite outfit, breakfast, etc. Of course, Croven was gone. However, I checked my phone that morning and I realized he sent me a message. To my surprise, there were other messages there as well from my new friends. Those whose should I read first? Did we have this same profile picture? I swear we had something different last time around. Maybe we didn't. Maybe I'm misremembering. Good morning, Miss Mary Anta. I hope you're doing well today. You had asked about the book the other day, right? Well, I actually finished it quicker than I expected to. I'd really love to give it to you, but I won't be in the library today. I'm actually going to be at the cemetery. You like that place though, right? You should come see me. Then I can pass the book over to you. I'll be there a quarter afternoon or so. Then maybe after we can grab some lunch or something together? I hope that doesn't come off as weird. I'd just like some company for my lunch break. Call me back. Hey Mary, I'm sorry. I know I've been acting pretty nasty to you lately. I hope you know I don't mean it. Have you been to the Planet Dollar yet? I'll be heading there for lunch today, maybe at like 12:30. You should come and have lunch with me, my treat. And then I can formally apologize or whatever. Mary, it's Twyla. If you're still interested in helping me, I'll be at the library around noon today. It should be quieter there. And there's some books I want to pick up for for research purposes. Meet me there if you can. If not, I'll just call you up another time. I was messaged by each of them. Right. However, I think I'll only be able to meet up with one of them today. Where should I go today then? Well, we gotta go meet Reginald, so let's go do that after a save. I gotta remember that next time I can just load here and then just go with Croven for the next playthrough of this. It was a tough choice, but I had to choose one of them. I told the others I had plans and that I'd have to meet with them some other time. Then, when noon rolled around, I headed to my destination. Reginald was not outside the cemetery gates as I expected, so I delved deeper into the cemetery. At first, I was worried he had already left, but eventually I was able to find him in one of the paths. He seemed to be looking at a few graves as if he was looking for someone. I called out to him as to not startle him. He noticed me, and waved me over as I made my way over to him. Hello again, Reginald? It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you too. I'm surprised you showed up. I thought you might be busy such last minute. Well, even if you weren't here, I'd probably be here anyways. Besides, I wanted to see you. I thought it would be nice to talk again. Last time, we were both preoccupied with books. I'm glad to hear that. I was thinking the same thing. Oh, speaking of books, before I forget, Reginald handed me the book from the other day. Don't worry about checking it out at the library. I told them I'd be giving it to you, so I had them extend the due date under your name. Oh, thank you. I think. I'm surprised they let you do that. Anyways, why are you here? Are you missing someone? I know it hasn't been too long since the funeral service, so... Oh, heavens, no. Sorry if I made you think that. I'm just here for business. Business? You work at the cemetery? 'Cause I've never seen you around before, you know. Oh, no, no. I agreed to be the caretaker here since they couldn't get off work. I'm a coffin maker, and well, someone's in need of a coffin soon. Oh, you're a coffin maker? Why does she have a little blush on her face? I. You never told me that. That's, wow. That's, really neat, actually. Are you impressed by that? Well, I'm really into these things, you know? I'm always here for a reason, after all. I'm sorry I didn't mention it to you sooner then. If you really like coffins, I can show you a few I've designed. I have a portfolio back at home, but I'm sure I have a few pictures on my phone I can show you too. Oh, yes, please do. I'd really love to see them. Reginald showed me a few pictures on his phone of some coffins he's made. And they were also detailed and intricate. They seemed personalized to the person they belonged to. I was taken aback. These coffins must be a bit expensive if they're personalized, because even the off-the-shelf ones are, I call it like couple grand. I ought to know. I've had people die in my life, so yeah. I think the cheapest ones you could get are like $4,000. 4 grand is still a bit. And I could have stared at them all day if he'd let me. Wow, those are those were really beautiful. You really made those? I'd I'd love to be buried in one of those one day. Okay, Mary. And Shellax. They're both weird in their own way. Mary just because she just says things. Was that weird? Aw, no, you flatter me. I'm happy you like them so much. What's with that look? What look? I wasn't making a look. Hmm. Sorry, I just had a sneaking suspicion. But no, I'm sure I'm wrong. Suspicion? About what? I was just thinking that you'd want me to design a coffin based off of you, too. Wait, are you serious? I mean, I know I don't need it right now, but I'd be so happy if you did. I mean, we hardly know each other, and that's so generous. Oh, it's nothing, really. I thought someone like you would appreciate the offer, and I could always use a new muse. It'd be my pleasure. Especially if I would make you... Especially if it would make you that happy. You just have to promise you won't go dying on me anytime soon. Oh my gosh. Sorry, The idea of it is so flattering. You really think I'd make a good muse for one? Absolutely. When we met, I remember you telling me about how much you love this place. Who could ever be better for inspiration for my work? I know you love the cemetery, so we can stay here for a while if you want. But will have to leave for my lunch break soon if you're still willing to join me. Oh, right. We can go whenever you like. Although I do kind of feel bad. Croven invited me to lunch today, too. Who's Croven? My cousin. I mean, we're not actually blood related. We're not, like, in-laws or anything either. His family just always been really close to mine ever since we were kids. I call him cousin even though he's not one. Though sometimes he can feel more like an annoying older brother, especially with his nasty attitude lately. Nasty attitude? Yeah, he's been very easy to upset lately. Though I guess I can't really blame him. And I know I don't really help. Well, I think you made the right decision to come here instead. You do? Absolutely. You shouldn't force yourself to be around someone who's making you feel so bad. Really, Mary, you have to take care of yourself, you know? Let's go somewhere where you don't even have to think about it. Don't worry about a boy like that. And if he really ever really gets on your nerves, you can always give me a call. I won't mind. I understand how frustrating some people can be sometimes. You mean that? Thanks, Reginald. That means a lot to me. Of course. Now let's get going. Oh, and on the way, maybe you can recommend me one of those shoujo mangas to me. I've been meaning to find one to read. Well, he's very much using some of the same language as the phone person, so it's kind of plainly pointing at this guy being a phone guy, because he's like, oh, well, as long as it makes you happy and all that jazz. And from what I remember about Phone Guy, he was always very much about our happiness, like whatever makes you happy, this and that. I trust your judgment, this and that, you know? Although I'm sure there's gonna be similarities still. Maybe the suspicion is just that, a suspicion. Maybe Phone Guy is definitely a different person. Who knows? Reginald and I went to find somewhere to eat on his lunch break. Even though I hadn't known him for long, he was treating me as if we were always friends. It was a strange feeling, but I can't say it was one that was unwelcomed. He talked so casually without pause or hesitance in his voice. I couldn't understand why. It just felt so bizarre. And not even in a bad way, maybe I'm still not used to making friends. But I was always glad I had a chance now with someone who. Before we could decide on anywhere to go, Reginald received a phone call. It was a client of his. He looked at me apologetically and told me he had to leave right away. I told him it was alright, and we parted ways. After he left, I headed back to the cemetery. I didn't see anyone else there the rest of the day. I never know if that's a good thing anymore. Whenever I go home got home that night, I did my usual routine. And to finish it off, I plopped on my bed and took out my phone, just like usual. Hi. Hello. Can we talk about that thing you said the other night? I haven't been able to stop thinking about it ever since you said it. What's bothering you? You said that you were coming for me. That you just needed more time. Are you really going to steal me too? It'll be alright. I promise. It's for the best. Sure. You're gonna make me feel sick all over again. What do you want me to tell you? That I'll see my parents again? You will. At least that's what's planned. You shouldn't worry yourself sick over something like that. I promise I'm taking extra good care of them. Somehow that's still hard to believe. You'll see. I wouldn't do anything to disappoint you. When will this be over? Soon, hopefully. I just need more time. You'll hang on for me, won't you? Do I have a choice? Sweet dreams, Mary. I didn't sleep at all that night. Understandable. That fucker is creepy. I really didn't. There was a few times I shut my eyes and tried to, but nothing could calm me down anymore at this point. My anxiety was through the roof. I just wanted mom and dad back. I wanted to know for certain that they were okay. It should have been me that was taken. Maybe it was supposed to be. The next morning when I got up, Croven was still home. We seemed to be acting pretty normal for once. He seemed to be acting pretty normal for once. At the very least, not agitated. But despite this, I didn't sit and have breakfast with him. I wasn't in the mood really to talk to anyone, not right now. And after last night, it was too much. I just wanted some private time to myself. I just wanted to cool down. As I was about to leave, Crow called out to me. Not eating breakfast, Mars? I responded. Meeting. Well, maybe we are meeting with a friend, no? Let's say we're meeting with a friend for breakfast. He responded with a simple okay, and after that, I was out the door. I just wanted to go to that place and not be bothered. On the bus ride there, all three of them texted me again. Croven said he noticed I left pretty quickly and hoped I wasn't upset at him for his behavior lately. Twyla talked about some of her progress on her research, and Reginald said he'd be at the cemetery again today. Although I appreciated their messages, I really just needed some time to be alone. I needed to go back there and just relax. No, that's not the right word. I was going I wasn't going to relax. I wasn't going there to relax. I was going there to mourn. Home. The diner. The Dine Red. It's where I grew up. I lived my whole life in this diner. Restaurant? Bistro? I never know the right word for places like this. We always had such silly names for it since it was next to the cemetery. The Restaurant in Peace, sometimes the Diner, even just simply Dead Dine. I always wonder if others caught on. You probably wouldn't know just from looking at it, but there's two floors. The bottom floor is the diner itself. I've eaten there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, sometimes all in the same day. The top floor is more like a house, or our house. There's bedrooms and a bathroom, and even a small living space with a TV. It could can be a little cramped sometimes, but it's cozy. No one could get up there, but me and my parents, of course. The upstairs is locked. You'd need a key, which I have, of course. After mom and dad went missing, the authorities locked this place up, and it's been locked ever since. They don't want anyone going in there, not even me. Because, I don't know, it's kinda like a crime scene or something. But I still have the key for the front door, too. It's my house, after all. I carefully scanned the area around me as soon as I stood in the parking lot. There were a few cars that passed by, and maybe a person or two on the sidewalk, but no one really seemed to pay me any mind. It was still a bit early in the morning, and so it wasn't surprising to see so few people out. I looked over my shoulder a few more times to make sure no one was watching me. Then I stepped up to the front door, unlocked it, and took a step inside, closing the doors carefully behind me. When I stepped inside, I was instantly hit with a wave of different kinds of emotions. I had been avoiding the diner for a long time because whenever I passed it, I would just think of mom and dad and feel sad. But now, stepping inside, it felt nice. At least a little bit. Just being able to be in my own house after so long, it was bittersweet. On one hand, I felt so happy to just be home. Everything was just as I had left it. The light still entered in through the windows the same way it always did. It smelled faintly of delicious food, even though the kitchen hadn't been used in a while. Even Mom's special board was in the same spot, but it felt so empty. So desolate, so abandoned. So sad. Big sad. It makes me kinda sad too for her, if I'm being honest. There wasn't even any electricity here. This place was hardly ever empty. We always had customers in the diner, always did well. There was hardly a moment where I'd come downstairs and only see mom and dad. There was always people, even just one person was here. Even if just one person was here, the counter would be full of coffee drinkers at night and in the mornings. I'd see families come by for dinner, or people out on dates come here. I always loved being able to see that. And there were so many good memories in this place. Like, last time I did the married couple that came in, so maybe my 13th birthday. Not to say I didn't enjoy my following birthdays or previous birthdays, but my 13th birthday was especially enjoyable. It was the day my parents got me a tarantula. I had been begging them for months, and they finally gave in and, let me get one. I always loved tarantulas, and despite the way others often viewed them, or maybe it was in spite of how people viewed them, but I always knew they were gentle, if you were nice to them. The way you should be. I picked the biggest and fuzziest one that they would allow me to get. I named her Shelly, and I'd collect seashells to put in her enclosure. I even put a cute little bows on the outside of it. I always wanted to show Shelly to others, but of course, they didn't like her as much as I did. I really loved Shelly, but she ended up getting sick. Really sick. None of the vets could even figure out what was wrong with her. Around some time last year, she died. I was so miserable I didn't even want to eat. But my mom knew my weaknesses. She began making all my favorite foods for me. And it was hard being hungry and miserable at the same time. Even though it was just food, it helped me feel a lot better. Standing there, it almost felt as if I could smell her still making it. And Dad would sit with me at the counter and make sure I got my fair share of dad puns for the day. I loved being able to sit with them and eat and just joke around. But now it was all covered in dust. And no one's here. Where should I go? My room? Because I think last time we may have gone to our parents' room, so let me just click this right here. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Which save was it? God dang it. Gonna have to skip around. He's my cousin. Okay, skip through this. Maybe they'll misclick next time. Go to save. There we go, save. Yes, return. Let's go to my room. I decided to head up to my room. My real room. Hey, it's a nice room. I like it. Oh, I misclicked. I keep misclicking. As I stepped inside, I felt strangely happy. And I missed my old room and all my stuff. It felt so nice to be back, and even if I wasn't staying, you got a little pony up there. A little pony. Just the sense of familiarity made me feel so calm. I wish I was able to take some of this stuff back home with me, but I don't have anything to carry it in. When was the last time I was even in this room? And I sat on my own bed. It was just as comfortable as I remembered it. The bed in the cabin was nice, but it just couldn't compare. I miss seeing a canopy above me. I've had this bed ever since I was a little girl. I remember Dad tucking me into this bed and reading me bedtime stories when I was too fuzzy to sleep right away. It didn't take long for me to start crying. I miss my bed, I miss my house, I miss my parents. I remembered my mom wishing me a good night one day, and then disappearing the very next. I hadn't heard from them since. They could be dead right now, and I wouldn't even know. I didn't want to think about that. But I couldn't really ignore the possibility of it, if it meant... Sorry, I think I misread that. But could I really ignore the possibility of it? Of the possibility if it meant... I just hated the situation I was in. Every little thing about it. I wanted to scream, but what good would that do? My phone just fell out of my pocket. Almost fell onto the ground, but luckily it just landed on my chair. I felt helpless. All I could do was sit cry, and wait for it to be over. I ended up falling asleep in my old bed. I was already exhausted from my lack of sleep, and crying certainly didn't help in that respect. Let me drink some tea, because my mouth is getting dry. Wowzers. When I woke up, I was unaware of how much time had passed, but I felt groggy, and I didn't think I would stay any longer. It'd probably just make me feel worse. I got up from the bed and began to head back downstairs. It wasn't until I got to the bottom of the stairs that I noticed. Oh, we didn't have the dream this time around. Well, that's interesting. So, in order to have that dream sequence about mom and dad, you need to you need to sleep in their bed, which I guess makes sense. Someone was here. Some stranger kneeling over in front of the doorway, or for whatever reason. I was almost frozen in my spot. Who were they? Why were they here? No one should be here. Hey, Scratchbag! Heyo! How do you do? I'm just replaying this game because I'm trying to go down a different path. No one should be here. Should have been able to get in. Howdy doody? Don't duty me. Duty is poop. Oh, I'm gonna tremble again because I'm chilled. I am chilled in my room. That's right. I unlocked it. Crap. I stood there hoping they wouldn't see me. The way they were dressed, with baggy dark clothes and their hood up, told me they were most likely bad news. Did they follow me in here? I wasn't sure what to do. You know, this time around, I haven't been misreading words as often as I usually do, so I'm proud of that. I thought about trying to escape out the back way or sneakily head back upstairs if need be, but as soon as I took a step back, I tripped slightly and let out a small yelp as I caught myself on one of the bar stools. The stranger immediately bolted outside. Wait! I wasn't able to get a good look at them. For a split second, I considered trying to chase after them. And even if that wasn't a stupid idea, they ran faster than I could keep up with anyways. Panicked, and slightly shaking, I took out my phone. I was so nervous I pressed it to my ear without even having dialed anyone yet. But who would I call? The police? No, I can't do that. I was already in here and I wasn't supposed to be. And I don't want to put any kind of attention on myself. But I can't just call nobody. I have to tell somebody about this. Who do I go to? Well, we're gonna save, and then we're gonna make our choice. Mr. Reginald, where are you? He's close by. I quickly called Reginald. He was close by, and he could get here quickest. And maybe on his way over, he might see the intruder. Come on, please, pick up. Hello? Mary? Reginald? Reginald, you're in the cemetery right now, right? Yes. Why? Can you come over here? Over where? Next door, the diner. I'm here and I really need your help. Help? What's wrong? What happened? I'll explain it once you're here. Can you please just come over? Certainly, I'll be there momentarily. Thank you. It was only a few minutes before Reginald got here, but it felt like hours to me. Once he arrived, he commented on how shaken I looked and asked what happened. I told him everything. About how my parents were missing, and how I wasn't supposed to be here. I asked if he had seen any hooded person on his way over, looking like they were in a rush. But he said he didn't see anything. He wasn't really sure what he could do to help, but he offered to look around with me and. Oh, the thing is dying again. Bandwidth! Bandwidth, my beloved! Return to us, I beg of thee. There we go. It is returning to us. She's coming back, guys. The bandwidth is coming back. Or maybe not. We are suffering a steep decline. Only momentarily, though. And now, it has returned. The bandwidth has made it back home. Congratulations, I also ran out of tea. Drank up the last of it, unfortunately. I can make more. Don't know if I should make another black tea, though, because well, I can make green tea, actually. Now that I think about it. I'll do so a little bit after this section is over with. Whenever we get a next choice to make, I'll take a quick break. Take a little 10-15 minute break and get myself some green tea. Because I like tea. It tastes nice. Plenty. But in a good way. Kinda. Now that I've gotten used to it after drinking that stuff for over a year. He wasn't really sure what he could do to help, but he offered to look around with me and we could see if they left anything behind. I thought that sounded like a good idea at the time. It made the most sense in my head. We started in the dining area and slowly worked our way upstairs. It is a little weird how she's talking in the past tense, which I guess technically, if I remember correctly, the last game was also like that. So I imagine when the story is happening, the character Mary is just talking from like the end of the game and is sort of just talking about everything she's gone through. I think maybe I'm incorrect about that, but that's really the only thing that makes sense. Because when you get an ending, it just goes to her being like, and today, or at least the last one was like that, where it's just her talking about how where she was at that point in time. So maybe this is the same for like every path. It's just talking about everything in like a past tense way. Well, every now and again, anyways, you get little hints about things being this entire thing being in the past and not currently happening. Sometimes, so like I said, we started we started in the dining area and slowly worked our way upstairs. I guess I might have looked really scared because the look Reginald gave me when he faced me again looked so worried that it worried me even more. He reassured me that I didn't have to worry, offered to hold my hand to help me calm down. I accepted. He looked around. We looked around, but we couldn't find anything suspicious left behind. However, we when we checked my parents' room, I noticed one of my mother's necklaces was missing from a drawer. From her drawer. It was a necklace my father had given her for their anniversary a few years back. But she couldn't have taken it with her. I remember seeing it here, checking the diner after my parents first disappeared. Did they take it? That thought put my stomach in knots. To think they must have been in here while I was dozed off in the other room. Oh God. I don't. I. Gah. Even eventually we gave up on looking. There was nothing else of note. And to look, and not like we could really do anything else right now. We headed back downstairs. At the very least, having Reginald here was able to help me calm down some. Mary, I'm very sorry I wasn't able to help you as much as you would have liked. What? No, don't say that. You helped me a lot. I'm very glad uh, you, I'm very glad you came. Really, I feel a lot better. Really? Are you sure? Yes, thank you. Well, I'm glad I was able to help in at least one regard. Now, I was wondering why this place had closed down so suddenly. I had no idea it was because the owners went missing. Shame too. Only been here I know I had only been here when we first met, but I would have loved to come again. I'm sorry, that was a wrong choice of words. I didn't mean. No, I'm fine. It's fine. It'll open again once they come back. Well, for your safety then. Can you please not come in here until they get back? Huh? I don't know how. I don't know who was in here earlier, but there is a possibility they might come back. It could be dangerous, right? And what if you got hurt? You have to look out for yourself, Mary. I'm sure you miss your parents dearly. They wouldn't want you to they wouldn't want you putting yourself in danger now, would they? Yeah, I suppose you're right. I never even thought about it that way. You're right. I'll lock this place up again. And at least if that person comes back, at least they can't get in. That sounds like a good idea. Here, let's go. Why don't you walk around the cemetery with me? I'm sure at least it'll at least feel better than staying here. Yeah, you're right. I think I'd like that. Thank you. I let Reginald take me to the cemetery away from the diner. He told me to show him all his favorite spots. All my favorite spots. Occasionally, he'd ask about a decorated grave. Ask if I knew who the person was. I wish I was able to have more answers for him. The rest of my day was pretty hazy. I couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. I didn't really feel any sort of relief until I got into bed that night. But, that's a nerve relieving part of my day nowadays. Anyways, hello again. Good evening. Was that you in my diner today? What do you mean? Earlier today in my diner, or house, I guess. I was in my diner, or house, I guess. There was a stranger. I couldn't see their face, but they ran out as soon as they realized I was behind them. Was that you? No. I don't know why I bothered asking. I doubt you'd tell me you would have given me the truth either way. Sometimes lying will be necessary, but I'm telling you the truth right now. If you say so. I'm not really sure what else to say. That's okay. I prefer when you don't ask questions. Why's that? You know what they say. Curiosity killed the cat. Good night, Mary. So much for a good night's sleep. Mary, are you still sleeping? Mary! No, I don't want to get up yet. Okay, so this is where the dream happens. I thought it happened originally in the when you went to sleep on your parents' bed, not afterwards, but okay. A long night. You went to bed at 8:30. I didn't sleep well. Well, your mother's making pancakes if you want any. They have chocolate chips. Of course, it's Sunday. Okay, I'll be down soon. I quickly got out of bed and got dressed, yawning as I descended down the stairs. Even from the top of the stairs, I could already smell the chocolate. Man, now I kinda want chocolate chip pancakes myself. I know you gotta make them homemade, but I don't know, I haven't had them in a long time. Last time I had them was maybe a decade plus ago. I'm mostly certain about that. If you don't hurry, I'm going to eat all of them. Dad! Oh, you know I'm just teasing you. Besides, your mom would kill me if I did. I like her hat. I don't know if I said that last time, but I like the little hat thing she's got going on. I got downstairs and sat at the counter beside my dad. There was a plate waiting for me, and my mother was behind the counter drinking her morning coffee like usual. Thank you for breakfast, Mom. Of course, dear. Oh, do you have any plans today? No, not really. Ah, is Croven busy today? I don't know, probably. Well, we can always do something if you want. We can? Of course we can. Didn't you want to see that new movie? New movie. I remember I had to make a certain decision here. I don't remember. I actually do. Never mind. I do remember the decision I had to make it when it came to this section. Why don't you, the horror one with the janitor? Why don't we go tonight? Are you sure you aren't too? Aren't you busy? You know I'm never too busy for my little girl. That sounds really fun. What about you, Mom? Are you really worrying about me? I'll be fine, sweetheart. Go out with your father. We can even call up Crow and see if he wants to come too. I've been really looking forward to this movie. I'm so excited now. This morning's been quite a pleasant surprise, but something feels off. Like I'm forgetting something. No, something's weird here. But what? Mom. Mom's fine. Mom's always... Wait. Mom can't talk. Mom is a mute. Mom's never been able to talk her whole life. I had to learn sign language as a kid to be able to communicate with her. She's never... Whose voice even was that? What was... That was talking to me. My mom doesn't have a voice. What's going on? Mary, you okay, hun? You look like you've seen a ghost. I'm fine. You sure, dear? I could always make you some tea to help calm me down if you're feeling anxious. Oh, no, I'm okay. I'm just gonna, go to the bathroom. I hopped out my seat and rushed my way over to the ground floor bathroom. That wasn't my mom. Was that even my dad? And I was hoping that once in the bathroom I could rinse my face off and make sense of things. But... Question mark. Spooky. Mom? Mom, what are you doing here? Weren't you just outside? Mom? Whoa! Spooky jump scare! I like the little bat symbol on her shirt. Or gown, I suppose. What's the matter, Mary? I thought you liked ghosts. There's a funeral today. I'm happy. Is that bad? I had been planning for it. I overheard them talking about it in the cemetery when planning a spot for her. Is that bad? I really enjoy funerals. I always have. Even when... I like to see everyone gather around for their lost loved one. They're all so sad. They bring flowers and sometimes even little parting gifts. That's so nice, don't you think? If their spirits could talk, I'd say they appreciate it. Would a ghost attend their own funeral? I would. Well, in any case, I'm excited for the one today. And I'm excited to see what they're like. Hopping off the bus that morning, I was glad to see I wasn't too late. It's a good thing I always wear black. No one ever seemed to turn their head to me as I came near. It started to rain. They never said anything about rain today, but I thought it might, and I saw all the clouds out this morning. So I came prepared and brought my umbrella. It was then that I noticed a little old lady with no umbrella, and no one was even bothering to keep her dry. So I covered her with my umbrella. Oh, it's an umbrella. You scared me for a second. Thank you, dear. Of course. Pardon me if this sounds rude, but are you one of her friends? No. At least I don't think so. Who died? Oh, well, it was my dear darling Miss Bella. She passed away last week. Just last week, my condolences. Forgive me if this sounds rude, but... What is your relationship to her? Me? Ah, yes. I'm Spella's mom. I never met you before, have I? That's okay, lots of people haven't. I'm very sorry for your loss. How are you feeling? Feeling? It's impossible for me to feel anything but heartbroken. I truly don't believe I'll ever recover from this. Now, don't say that. She wouldn't want you to think that like that, right? Yes, I suppose you're right. She was young, wasn't she? Oh, yes. Much too young for this. Right as things were going her way. She was going to get married in a few months. None of us thought her condition was this bad. It's been cancelled, of course, but at least she's wearing the dress now. I'm sure she looks beautiful. Oh, she was always so beautiful. My darling angel was always too beautiful. She never even got to. Oh, look at me. I'm going to start crying all over again. I promised her I wouldn't. I'm sorry. Do you think she's scared? Hmm? She's all alone now. Where's she going to go? And who will tell her how it's to get there? The way she is right now. Is she happy? Even if she's not. She's not alone, is what I told her last time, so I'll go with the same thing, because I don't think this conversation really matters. How can you say she's alone when everyone else is here beside her? I know she can't really say much about it, but I'm sure she's happy to have all her friends and family beside her. All the people here. She meant a lot to them, didn't she? That's why they're here. They're all here to keep her company. I know lots of people like to think they're alone when you die, but I think it's hard to consider all this being alone, you know? She's not alone when we're all here. Yes, I suppose that's true. We're all together here, aren't we? Then, I suppose I'm glad she isn't alone. Yes, me too. I'm sorry if I upset you by talking about her so much, miss. It is a funeral after all, and I should behave more respectfully. No, no, it's quite alright. Talking about it has actually helped a little bit. I feel a bit better hearing your thoughts. Is that so? I'm glad then. Yes, thank you. Why, I'm so sorry. I didn't even catch your name. It's alright. My name is Mary. Mary? Mary... Ah, hold on a moment. Do you mean that you're Cemetery Mary? I see my reputation precedes me. Yes, that's me. I see. Thank you, Mary. If Spella was here, I'm sure she'd want to talk to you too. Or thank you too. She is here. But hearing it from you means enough already. Thank you as well. It was a lovely funeral. The coffin was lowered and soon enough the rain stopped. I watched everyone say their goodbyes to her and to each other, and then steadily they left. Soon it was just me and the lady. I'd have felt a bit felt bad if I overstayed my welcome. I didn't want to outlast her at her own daughter's funeral. So I quickly said my goodbyes and left. But to my surprise, someone was waiting for me on the sidewalk. Reginald? What are you doing here? Oh, I just happened to be walking by when I noticed you in there. Is everything alright? Oh, yes. Everything's fine. She wasn't like she wasn't like a family member or anything like that. Ah, that's a relief. It's always a sad thing, is it not? Yes, it is. It's okay. I know you don't see it that way. Huh? Well, since you're here, would you mind helping me with something? Oh? I was just about to head down to the store to pick up a few things. Just some screws, nail, a hammer or two. Just some stuff I'm running low on or need to replace. You want my help for this? I'm not very educated in tools and all. Oh no, that's alright. You don't need to be. I just appreciate the company is all. But if you'd rather not... Oh no! I mean, yeah, I can come. It's not like I have anything better to do. Lovely. With me. I hope you don't mind though that we'll have to walk. I would have brought my car, but it was too nice a day to pass up the chance to walk. In the rain? Rightly so. A little water never hurt anyone. Well, I guess you've got a point. Reginald's logic didn't really make sense to me, but I decided to accompany him to the hardware store anyways. Mary, you can't talk about people not being logical, okay? You visit a cemetery because you think it's nice to be around dead people. You can't judge nobody. It's not like I ever go there, but so it's a nice change of pace. Come to think of it, I didn't actually know where the hardware store was located until Reginald told me. I guess it's good that I know now. If someone asks me where the hardware store is, I'll know the answer. I'll know how to answer. Exactly. Positives, positives. The hardware store wasn't too far away from where we were, but it felt like quite the walk since I didn't know how to get there. Come to think of it, I can't remember the last time I ever actually been in a hardware store. As Reginald held the door open for me, the smell of fertilizer wafted forward. Quite intense. We entered into what looked like the gardening section. Well, here we are. And thank you again for coming along. I do appreciate it. Yeah, of course. Thank you for inviting me. It's nice to go somewhere different. Oh, what is it that you needed to get again? Oh, I've got a list in my pocket, actually. Hey, would you like to turn it into a game? Oh, how do you mean? I'll split the list in half. We'll each take a half and look for the items on our own. Then we'll come back when we're finished. If you can get here before me, I'll reward you. Reward me? I'll get a prize? Something like that. You'll have to beat me first. Oh, okay, I think I can do that maybe. Let's do it then. Well, this is already kind of unfair, considering he knows what's in the store, most likely, and I don't. So, I watched as Reginald ripped his list in two and handed one half over to me. Fair warning though, I know this store like the back of my hand. Yeah, might still win. After that, Reginald went on his own and left with my share, and left me with my share of the list. Let's see here. Antifreeze, an axe, tape measure, rat poison. Well, that's not very nice. I mean, maybe not. I'll mention that to him later. Fucking, an axe, tape, rat poison, the usual. For now, I had to get the things on the list. So we have to get an axe, and then we gotta get rat poison. He's setting us up. I know it. If he's the murderer, he's setting us up. After all, I had a challenge to win. But I didn't anticipate how big the store was. It already looked big from the outside, but now that I was walking in it, it was huge. Why is the fucking music ominous? It's a hardware store. things should not things should not be ominous in here. It was a weird feeling walking in here by myself, especially considering I didn't really come to these places. I don't know what I was really expecting, but it was so empty. I didn't even see any workers around. Despite that, I kept hearing footsteps. Reginald? I called out. No response. What am I doing? This place isn't scary. It's just gonna... Oh, the damn thing dropped again. Can my thing come to life? Maybe it did. I was just like messing around. Checking things to make sure they were in working order, and they seemed to be in working order. I didn't notice that the bandwidth came back up. Good thing, good thing. I'm just gonna, get the things he asked me for. What was on that list? Wait, hey, where'd the list go? Did I drop it somewhere? Ah, shoot. That's okay. I'm pretty sure I remembered what was on it. Now just get those things and find my way back to the front. I just have to get... Well, I remember, but I'm gonna save anyways, just in case. Yeah, save here. It was... measuring tape, rat poison, and an axe, if I remember correctly. Axe? I picked up an axe. Is this the right kind? I mean, he's using it for wood, right? So it should be good. What else would you use an axe for? It's heavy. Rat poison. I picked up the bottle of rat poison. There's nothing to say about that. Was it masking or measuring tape? Oh no. I think masking. Or measuring. What? Fuck, I don't. Oh, no, 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 no. That's not what I meant to do. God damn it. Hold on. Axe. Rat poison. I can't remember if it was masking or measuring. I'm gonna say masking. I grabbed some masking tape from the shelf. It was colored. It was colored blue. I hope that wouldn't be an issue. I think it was just three things, right? I wish I could go back on my own stream and just look, finish shopping. I picked up what I thought he'd need and decided to just head back towards the counter. After all, if I took too long, I would lose the race. At least I knew my way back. And at the very least, I got back to the meeting spot before Reginald did. I only had to wait about a minute before he showed up. I see you made it back before me. Well done. Well, do you have everything? Looks like you got a little confused. It's okay, I'll sort it out. Thank you for trying to help anyways. Was it measuring tape? After making sure Reginald had everything he needed, he and I headed up to the front counter to pay for it all. One by one, he put all his stuff on the conveyor belt, and it slowly began to move across as the cashier began to scan it. He got quite a bit of stuff, Reginald. I feel bad. Oh, why's that? Well, you don't have a car with you, and you gotta carry these bags back home. Would you want me to help you? Oh, don't worry your silly little head about that. A little fresh air and exercise does me some good. You're not even going to take the bus? No, I'm quite alright. What am I getting an email from? Ah, something random. Reginald, can I, ask you something? Yes, of course. Is everything alright? I noticed you bought rat poison. Yes, it's unfortunate, but my apartment is having a bit of a rodent problem recently. And of course, the landlord won't take care of it, so somebody has to do something. Does that upset you? Well, I don't know. I wish you'd use a more humane way to get rid of them. Right, I see. In that case, I won't buy it anymore. Well, after this time, I suppose. Really? Thanks, it makes me feel better. Hey, do you want anything? Huh? They've got a shelf over there with some candy. I don't mind buying you a chocolate bar if you want one. See, I told you this fucker's like the phone guy. Cause he knows we like sweets. He knows that we don't, like killing stuff, and he's very, very much. He folds to everything we demand, and it's not even a demand. It's just literally Mary going, "I don't like that," and the guy's just like, "Okay, I'll stop doing that then." Suspicious man. Oh no, that's all right. You don't have to. Are you sure? I mean, is that supposed to be my price for winning the race? No, no. I'm still thinking about what your price should be. Well, since you're here anyways, might as well, right? Consider it a thank you for spending time with me today. Are you really sure? Of course I am. It's just a candy bar. It's not a big deal. In that case, thank you. Reginald bought me a chocolate bar. It made me very happy. I made sure to thank him for it, even though he insisted it was his thanks to me. After we left the store, Reginald had to head home, saying he ought to drop some off his stools and stuff. He said he felt bad not being able to invite me to do more. And I told him it was completely okay. He didn't need to do anything. I had a nice time today. Time must really fly, because when I checked the time afterwards, we were already well into the afternoon. I ended up heading home a little earlier that day, and I didn't have much else to do outside, so I went home. I read some books and made myself dinner and then put the leftovers in the fridge. And then I washed up, put on pajamas. And, well, do I even have to explain what I did after that? No, you don't, because you do the same thing every night. Hi again. Hello. So, what did you do today? What? Well, if you're not going to talk about my parents to me, I'd at least want to hear about something you're doing. We shouldn't talk about what I do. I want to. Maybe we should make a choice here. I don't think he's gonna tell us anyways. Go to the second thing, and then save. Yes, override. Thank you very much. I want to. I understand. Maybe eventually. But not today. I'm sorry. I need to leave. Good night, Mary. I yawned and lied down. I want to know what he says. If I say, why not? Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Right here. Why not? Because you don't need to know. Doesn't it concern me? As far as I know, everything you do concerns me. Right. I'm sorry. I need to leave. Good night, Mary. Okay, so I guess no difference, really. Except one is slightly more antagonistic than I want to. I want to is just friendly. I yawned and I lied down. Question mark? Texting me so late at night. Mary, are you awake? I understand if you aren't, of course. It's a little bit late, isn't it? Whenever you read these... What did I fucking hate when I mess up my words like that. Whenever you read this, do respond. Reginald? Are you up so late? Oh, hello. Don't worry about that. I just thought of the perfect prize for you. And I had to tell you as soon as I possibly could. Really? What is it? Let's see my work the other day, right? Unless you were just flattering me. Anyways, I was thinking you could come over to my workshop, and I could show you how a coffin is made. At least that way I do it, at least the way I do it. I thought it'd be a nice idea if you're into it. You're serious? I'm allowed to come see? Of course you are. I wouldn't have invited you otherwise. Then, yeah, I'd love to see it. I think that'd be really cool. Thank you so much. Of course. I'm often alone, so it'll be nice to have some company. Here, I'll send you the directions momentarily. Reginald gave me the directions to his workshop, and we made plans to meet there in a few days. I always wondered what went into making coffins, so I was plenty excited to be able to see it myself. There's only so much you can read online about stuff like this. Being able to experience it firsthand would be something entirely different. Honestly, it was a bit hard to contain how giddy I was. And I felt like a kid again, excited for a field trip the next day. Well, back when I still went to school with the other kids and all. Anyways, I was excited. And after feeling like I'd been waiting forever, the day finally arrived. Getting off the bus at the closest stop, I walked to the location Reginald told me I should go to. You know what? I'm gonna go get myself some tea right now. So I consider this the start of the 15-minute break. Get yourself a snack, get yourself a drink, do what you gotta do, and I shall return shortly. Sorry if that took me a little while longer than I expected. Had to wait around a bit to make sure, the tea was well done. Let's continue, shall we? My throat is still feeling a little dry, but that's fine. I'll be able to drink this tea in, I don't know, 20 minutes without burning my tongue. He told me it was a bit of a. What the hell? Okay, read correctly, brain. Come on, you got this. He told me it was a bit of a ways off the sidewalk and not too close to any buildings. Many buildings. It had honestly felt like I walked into a whole new city. It definitely wasn't as brick and mortar as back where I'm used to being. There were so many trees, and buildings are so spread. The grass grew in such a way that it didn't feel overgrown, despite reaching a bit above your ankles. I walked down to the town's cracked sidewalks until I came across a pebble path. And following down it, I caught sight of Reginald's workshop. It was so old-fashioned. It was big, but completely made out of wood. It almost looked like its own little cottage, way out here. But it was charming, and I liked it. I went up to the door and gave it a few gentle knocks. I didn't hear anything at first, but then Reginald opened the door. At first, he had a not so happy expression on his face. It was only for a split second, but I noticed it before it changed. Ah, Mary, you're here. Come in, come in. So glad you could make it. I took a step into the workshop. It was so cozy in here. There was such a gentle sunlight flowing in through the windows, and the smell of sawdust was prominent in the air. But it was a good kind of sawdust smell. Smelled like productivity and hard work. I actually just started my break, but you're free to look around and ask about things in the meantime. Are you sure? I don't want to bother you on your break. Oh, nonsense. I can't think of a better way to spend my free time. So, anything you're curious about? I don't know if any of these questions are of import, but Let's see. Is that your work in the back? Are you always alone here? Are those new tools? How are those new tools working for you? Those are your work clothes. Is it a lot more? This is a lot more woody than I expected. This is more just banter. The others are like actual questions. Are those new tools working for you? Extravagantly so. I think that because I had you helping me that day. I think that's because I had you helping me that day. Are you secretly a good luck charm? I think I feel more like the opposite if I'm being honest. Oh, come on, don't say that. You haven't let me down yet. Are you always alone here? Oh, not always. Okay, just about always. But it's alright. I don't mind it. I get to meet up with some others when they need bases and all. So I'm not always alone. So don't worry about it. Besides, are any of us ever really alone? You winked at me before saying it. Okay. Are those your work clothes? Oh, yes. Do you like them? Oh, yes. They look very nice. But, your hair is still a bit too loose, don't you think? Yes, you're not the first to say that. But it's hard to control it all, and I can't really bear to cut it. No worries, though. I assure you, I hadn't had an accident since... I haven't had an accident since. And if I do, then you can tell me what you told me, so... What the fuck did I just read? And if I do, then you can tell me that you... No, I'm not gonna read that sentence. I just gave up. Is that your work in the back? Indeed it is. It's just a base right now, though. Nothing too special about it yet. I think it looks pretty good, though. Especially since it's not like I know how to do any of this stuff. Well, if you'd like, you could take a step inside. Could be my little tester. Whoa, really? Sure, I mean... haven't you always wanted to know what it's like to actually lie in one? I know I have. Yeah. I'd like to try it if it's okay. Of course it is. I wouldn't have offered otherwise. I stepped into the coffin. Even though it was still standing upwards, I crossed my arms as if I had been lying down in it. I mean, a little bit odd, but, you know, it is what it is. Because it is. Yes. Reginald gave me a teensy wave as a... Teensy? Yeah, that's the word. A teensy wave as he lifted the lid and placed it over the coffin, encompassing me in darkness inside. How's it feeling there? It's cozy. I think. I'm sure it'll be a lot cozier once it's finished. Maybe we'll add some nice cushions and a shiny finish to really put it over the top. Hey, yeah! What did I say hey for? There was no hey, it was ha. I cannot read. I always did wonder what it feels like in those. I guess you'll have to let me try it again when it's finished. Real quiet. Hello? Reginald? Oh no. Don't tell me we're stuck inside. He's trapped us. You're still there, right? Hello? God damn it, Mary. God damn it. You fool again. You hooligan, you dang dingus. Guess I'll just let myself out then. Huh? I had pushed on the lid in front of me, but it didn't budge at all. I pushed harder, but to no avail. Reginald? Can you hear me? I'd like to get out now. Hey! How much air is in here anyways? I tried pushing again. No use. And no matter how much I yelled out at him, to him, It seemed as if Reginald had just vanished. Hey! Let me out, please! I punched the lid in an attempt to get out. I felt pain surge through my wrist as I did so. But still, I did it again. And again. And again. Help me! Please! Let me out! Let me out! Please! I can't get out! Please! My voice acting must be perfect to the ears. Finally, I was let out. I struggled to catch my breath as I was met with the face of Reginald, who looked quite shocked to see me in such a state. Mary? What happened? Are you alright? Did... Where... Where... Where were you? Didn't you hear me screaming in there? Oh, Someone had knocked on the door. I figured you would be able to get out on your own, so I... You look shaken. Just a little bit. I just got so nervous when I couldn't get out. I'm sorry. Oh no, I'm the sorry one. Really, I'm so sorry. It was supposed to be nice, but I shouldn't have let you alone. I'm sorry. Now I'll make it up to you, okay? You really don't have to. It's alright. I'd feel bad. It wasn't your fault. It is my fault. Besides, I won't feel bad about it unless I do something to make it up to you, okay? It's just how I am. Okay. I kinda doubt that was the case. Maybe it was a ghost who kept the door closed because I doubt that, that the fucking thing for a coffin that's standing up is gonna be difficult to push off. I stayed for about less than an hour after that. It became pretty awkward after my little panic, and Reginald still looked like he felt really bad. I told him I'd let him work in peace. He told me it was okay if I wanted to leave, but he'd like to see me again soon. We said our goodbyes and I left, not wanting him to feel any worse over it. I didn't do much the rest of the day. I had, well, planned around this, but now I didn't feel up for doing much at all. I went back home and decided to just relax. And I was sure that once I was finally calm, what happened today wouldn't have seemed that bad at all. So I spent the rest of my evening at home, until it was time for bed once again. I've got something to ask you, again. Are you there? Yes, I'm here. I want to ask you something. You just did. What? No. Something different. Go ahead. Are you trapped? That's an interesting question that I don't think we've had the chance to get from... maybe the questions are based off of each person's path? Maybe. Are you trapped? What do you mean by that? Or what you're doing right now? Is it because you want to? Or do you not have a choice? There's always a choice, even if that choice is to do nothing. But the choice I've made was with the best of intentions in mind. Good night, Mary. Went to bed after that. I don't know if it became easier to sleep at night with a good thing or a bad thing. Wait, I don't know if it became easier to sleep at night was a good thing or a bad thing. Regardless, I slept. The days following were mostly uneventful, but I think that's probably a good thing. I didn't need something to shake things up even more. The first 2 days that passed, I did my usual hobbies. I went to the cemetery, placed the flowers, I planted flowers. I didn't really talk to anyone, but that was fine too. On the third day, it was raining, so I decided I would stay home. I decided to finally take out the manga out from the library. I hadn't started it yet, and today seemed like the perfect day to do so. I lit the fireplace as I cuddled up with the blanket next to it, expecting to spend quite a while sitting there. It was a thick book, but I was sure I could finish it all in a sitting. As for its content, well, it wasn't the best manga I had ever read, but it was still really interesting and captivated me nonetheless. The story was mostly lighthearted, and at some even felt like a comedy. I had just gotten to the part where that was a bit more serious, making me a lot more interesting. All the more invested, probably. The main boy was in love with the main girl. That was obvious enough from the start. Despite this, he didn't want to be her boyfriend. In fact, he didn't want to be in a relationship with her at all. The manga had been pretty comedic up until that point. This point, it was mostly about the boy taking wild steps to keep the girl his friends while also not wanting to evolve into more, or even had feelings for her. He never explains why he doesn't want to date her, just that he doesn't. But now it appears the girl had grown feelings for him in return. Things a little more complicated, and it looks like the boy was ready to confess why he felt the way he did. I was completely immersed, so I turned the page only to be met with scratch marks. Oh no. They defaced it. They defaced the comic. The manga. Oh, how terrible. Someone had vandalized the pages with some someone had vandalized the pages with some sort of black paint or nail polish, it seemed. Turn the next page to the next page just to make sure the rest of the book is alright. Sure enough, the other pages were also scribbled in black. Except for one. There was a drawing on it, and what looked like some kind of writing underneath. Made me feel disappointed. I know it's not all that uncommon for edgy teenagers to write in books and all, but still, this belonged to the library. You shouldn't damage it. I tried to look on the bright side. Maybe it was a donation to the library instead. That someone had drawn in this book when they owned it and donated it without realizing it. Still, though, did no one check to see if the book was in good enough shape to be donated? I guess not. Well, there was nothing I could do about it now. I made a mental note to tell the library of the damaged book when I went next, and flipped back through the beginning pages to make sure I didn't miss any other marks. But when I did, huh? The page I was just on looked nothing like it did before. All the characters, it was like they were looking straight at me. I turned the page and it was the same. All eyes were on me. Completely startled, I had thrown the book away from me, but I didn't see where I was going. And in my panic, I had thrown the book right into the fire. I mean, you may as well, girl, you may as well. Oh no! Oh no, no, no! I wanted to save it, but it was too late. Putting the fire out wouldn't have saved it. It was already pitch black and burning into ash. I smacked myself in the head. I was always so careful with the library's books, and now I just let one get completely destroyed. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Ugh. Even though the book was beyond rescue, and I still had to clean the fireplace now. I sighed and gathered the proper tools to clean it. Kneeling in front of the fireplace, I heard my phone go off. I picked it up shortly after, worried that it might have been Croven needing something important. But it was Reginald once again. Hello, Mary. How are you feeling today? Me? I'm okay, I guess. Are you sure? I still feel terrible about what happened the other day. And what do you mean? When you got stuck, remember? Or, well, perhaps it's better if you don't remember. Well, anyways, I've still been feeling pretty awful about that. I was thinking of ways I can make it up to you somehow, and luckily, an opportunity has recently presented itself. Oh, you don't have to do anything. Really, it's alright. Please, I think you'll really like it. I mean, we're being real friendly this time around. So sure, why not? Are you sure? Of course I'm sure. In fact, I'd say it was meant to be. It's so perfect for you after all. You see, I was recently invited to a funeral. And who better to invite with me than you? Oh, I'm so sorry. Are you feeling alright? Oh, yes, no need to worry. There was no one close. Someone I used to know a long time ago. I hadn't seen him in ages, so it surprised even me that I was invited. But since I was, I thought you would like to come you would like to come? You do like these events, right? Well, I guess I can't deny that I do. Are you really sure it's okay for me to come? Of course. I think if anyone can put the fun in funeral, it's you. Ah, shucks. Reginald forwarded me the details of the funeral and told me where I'd be meeting him. Despite our area's pretty cemetery, the funeral was going to be entirely in a church. I had never been to a funeral in a church before. Each one I've attended has been outside, and it's a lot easier to walk into one that's held outdoors. But now I was invited, and I could not deny. I did feel a little excited. Is that bad? I've never really gone to churches, but they've always seemed so pretty from the outside, and I just never had a reason to go. But now I do. I kept in touch with Reginald until that day, always double checking the details such as the time and location. I didn't want to be late or hold anything up, or cause any disruption. Reginald kept assuring me that it would be alright though, and that he'd wait for me outside so I wouldn't get lost, get too lost either. On the day of the funeral, I wore my usual attire. It's one of the great things about dressing like this. I'm always funeral ready. I mean, that's not the only reason I dress like this. I just like the color black a lot. But I think red is still my favorite color. Probably. When I turned down the street and to the church I was on, blah, blah, blah. When I turned down the street the church was on, I spotted Reginald sitting on the front steps. He spotted me in return and gave a polite wave as he waited for me to reach him. Why don't you look nice? Oh, really? I'm just wearing what I always do. Yes, I know. It's a nice look for you. Ah, right. Here, take this. Reginald handed me a small package of tissues. I know you're not one to cry at these events, but just in case. Oh, thank you. That's very considerate of you. Think you'll need them too? Oh, no. I'm not much of a crier, I'm afraid. Besides, I think it's hard to be sad with you around. Reginald opened the door for me and I stepped inside. I had always admired the building from the outside, but never been inside before. The ceilings towered above us. The walls were clean and dark, and the tiled floors below us gave a pleasant sound when we stepped on. He gestured to the direction we'd been for the service. Heading in for the service, there was a lot of people. And that made me happy. We all herded into the room, everyone looking for a proper pew to sit on with a nice enough view of the priest. I sat down in the closest spot to me, and almost immediately I felt an overwhelming sense of dread. I'm not sure what caused it or why it was happening, but it was as if the world was ending. Somehow. I don't know. Oh, the image on the screen actually gets kind of like not wavy, but blurry. I thought I was imagining things at first. I just couldn't place the overwhelming sense of doom that I was feeling. I looked around. It seemed no one else was experiencing it, but it was so prominent to me, almost tangible, like a heavy weight that was sinking at your shoulders, or loud music that reverberated through your bones. Reverberated. Sorry, that word got a little stuck. Got stuck in my mouth there for a good second. The ceilings were so high, and I had plenty of room to sit, and yet I felt so terribly claustrophobic. I could not even hear what the priest was saying. Or rather, I could hear it, but I felt as if I could not listen properly. As if there were speakers underwater. What was this feeling? It was making me feel sick. I felt the temples of my head start to throb. The more time went on, and each muffled noise that coursed its way across the room somehow gave me a sense of nausea, as if the vibrations of the sound were causing me to feel dizzy. Something wasn't right. That's all I can think to myself. I felt almost paralyzed in my seat. The bad feelings continued, so on and so forth. It was hard to describe exactly how it felt. Was this a stroke? A heart attack? I couldn't pinpoint this feeling. I knew that. I just knew that something wasn't right. It wasn't even. I wasn't even sure how to handle these feelings. It was as if I had entered some kind of like state, as if I was, as if what I was feeling and everything around me was some sort of elaborate dream. It was scary and claustrophobic. I felt like I had tunnel vision, and the whole world around me was becoming blurry. All the noises around me felt so muffled and yet so loud. Made my ears ring, and all the while, the only message my brain was feeding me was that something wasn't right. I I didn't want to be disrespectful to the service or anything, but I had to leave. At least, just leave the room. How long had this gone on, anyways? It felt like it had been hours, but that couldn't have been the case. And I think I was just feeling really sick, then that's why I I eventually worked up the strength to exit the room. Things didn't seem quite as close in when I did, but I still felt tidal waves of nausea rush over me every moment. I couldn't understand what was causing this to happen. It felt terrible. It in my dazed state, I stumbled about until I found the bathroom. I went inside. The lights were bright and fluorescent in contrast to the rest of the church. The noise and the stark whiteness of the room did not help my condition at all, as if overloading my senses even more. Luckily, I was already in front of the toilet when my sickness got the better of me. I threw up, and something definitely was not right. Whatever I had puked into the toilet was unlike anything I had ever seen before. You know what? In Blackout Hospital, Mary had an issue with like weird black liquid as well, leaking out of her eye though, not vomiting it up. It was pure black, and it glistened oddly in the light, like ink or tar. Did this really just come out of me somehow? Just now? Or am I just seeing things? This feeling of nausea still hasn't left. A knock on the door. I wasn't given much time to inspect it further, but truthfully, I didn't know if I wanted to. I had to just be seeing things, right? I told whoever was outside that I just wanted that I would be just a minute. I flushed the toilet and wiped the seat with the toilet paper. All of that murky, inky black water came up clear again after I had flushed it. I washed my hands and cleaned myself up in the sink before heading back out there again. As I exited the bathroom, I was greeted by a lady and a gentleman standing right in front of me. Oh, goodness, you startled me. I'm so sorry. And I apologize for the wait. Please go ahead. Oh, that's quite alright. I just wanted to fix my makeup before we head out for dinner. Would you be joining us too? Huh? We saw you in the service with us. Everyone was invited to come join us for dinner after. Sorry if we're appearing rude, but who are you anyways? You're not some kind of crasher, right? Huh? What do you mean? How are you related to the deceased? Who did you come here with? Oh, that. That's, just because I'm actually just... Oh no. We gotta come up with something. Hmm... This is like the nurse situation. A third cousin twice removed, a coworker. The only safe option is like Reginald's girlfriend, but that's so weird to say. That's so awkward. I don't want to say I'm his girlfriend, but the other two options I feel are no bueno. They're just not good options. It's like a third cousin twice removed is fake, and then I was a coworker is convenient. This is so dumb. I guess we'll just say I'm your Reginald's girlfriend or something. I didn't want to cause any trouble leaving the service in the middle of it. I just wasn't feeling all that great, so I took off on my own. I don't know where he is right now, but I'll see him again soon, I'm sure. Oh, I see. Must be very wound up after this all done. Sorry to bother you. Oh, no, don't be sorry. It's okay. I noticed them giving me weird looks as we went our separate ways. As I got closer to the main hall, I could see more and more people spilling out the ends. It seems like the service was just about over, but I couldn't just leave. There was something really weird going on here, and I knew it was connected to that coffin. The closer I got to it, the more intense that nauseating pressure felt. It felt like walls closing in on my brain. And with that, what happened in the bathroom earlier, I couldn't just let it go. I snuck closer to the coffin. We were alone together, and the pressure felt more intense than ever. Honestly, I felt like I could puke again from just standing here. It just felt so hard to focus on anything except the pressure of it all. Something was telling me what's inside. Something was telling you what's inside. The hell is that supposed to mean? I don't know if it's a body. I could hardly think properly. But all my brain could tell me was that something else was in there. No one else is around. No one else is around, right? Maybe if I could just see inside. All all I need is one quick glance, and then maybe my mind would be at ease. I reached my arm towards the coffin, and there you are. Reginald? Did you get lost? I noticed you run off earlier. Is everything alright? Oh, actually, I'm not alright. Oh? What's wrong? I don't know. Just, I just started feeling really sick today. I'm all woozy and dizzy. My head feels like it's throbbing. Don't know why. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Would you like me to drive you home? Oh, that. No, it's okay. Are you sure? How are you going to get home then? Oh no, it's fine. I'll be fine. Absolutely, because you don't sound all that okay. I, I think I just need to lie down somewhere. Oh boy. We got two options here. I kinda don't know what to pick. It's like, the more interesting option would be go to his place or the bus stop. I mean, I'm sure either way right now I have enough, like, hangout points. I'm assuming that's how this kind of game works. It just depends on how much you've hung around a person that you get a certain ending. Because I didn't hang out with Twyla all the time, just a lot of it. And therefore, I guess I get that ending, unless hanging out with Twyla all the damn time gives me a different ending. Maybe if I pick the correct options as well. I'm not too sure how something like this would work. Like, I'm just making the basic assumption that it's, points based, essentially. Plus, if we stay over, Croven might get a little weirded out. I guess that we've not been at home for a while. Ah, where would he even go? I don't know. I feel like something could happen. Something weird could happen if I go to his place. I feel like that's a bad ending. I mean, did I save? Yeah, I did. For the content, we'll go to his place. Actually, I'm sorry to intrude, but you think I could lie down at your place for a little while? It'll be okay if you go home after. I just rest a little somewhere. Ah, yes, of course. Here, let's get you out of here. Reginald and I quickly and quietly exited the church together. Even though we were getting further from the coffin, the immense pressure I felt from standing next to it didn't seem to fade away any. In fact, it almost seemed to be getting worse, regardless of my distance from it. I felt bad and a little weird about going to Reginald's place like this, but it seemed like it was my only choice. But it was fine. I had my phone on me too, just if if I needed it, in case of an emergency. I really needed to lie down somewhere. Not necessarily asleep, but just lie down. I crawled into Reginald's car with him. It smelled like one of those old pine air fresheners, but there wasn't anything any hanging from his rearview mirror. Don't worry, Mary, we'll be there soon. Don't be afraid to ask for anything on the way either. You you really are starting to look sick. I don't know what he meant by that, but I didn't really have the energy to ask about it. The world around me felt like it was spinning. I hoped I wouldn't throw up again in Reginald's car, and I really hoped I wouldn't need to go to the hospital or anything like that. I probably should have paid attention on the drive to Reginald's apartment, but in the state I was in, it was very hard to. Nothing really looked like quite as it should. Everything we passed just seemed so melded together into shapes. My head was killing me. I don't remember how long we drove for. I just remembered Reginald parking his car and helping me out the other side. He let me lean against his shoulder as he brought me in through the front door. The elevator is broken, so we're going to take the stairs. I hope that's alright. That's fine. It won't be long, okay? Just a little further. Reginald brought me to the stairs and helped me up them one by one. Somehow it felt like the most difficult task in the world. Like I couldn't even focus my moving my own 2 feet. I didn't understand anything that was happening. I really I really just needed to lie down. As we ascended the stairs, I heard someone else coming down from an upper floor. I didn't think much of it until they stopped us on one of the landings. Reginald, there you are. I'm sorry, you'll need to get out of the way. It'll be really quick. And can't you see I'm busy right now? Come on. You can't tell me you don't notice it too. When I try to talk to Miss Sherwood about it, she doesn't answer me. Have you heard anything from her? I knew she was mad something about rent. Let me see. I knew she was mad I was late on the rent, but Elme, I told you I'm busy. Andy, move out of the way. Now. I felt a shove past the poor lady. I felt bad for her, but I also felt as though I could barely walk anymore. I really, really hoped I wouldn't throw up again. And then at some point, we were no longer on the staircase. I heard Reginald take out his keys and unlock his door. Well, here we are. I know it's not much, but I hope it'll do. But you're unwell. I shouldn't ramble. Here, why don't you lie on the couch? Watch some TV. I'll start some tea. Maybe it will help you feel a bit better. Okay. Thank you. I almost collapsed onto his couch the second I was close to it. I don't know what was wrong with me. I just needed to relax. I tried to listen to what he told me. Watch TV. Maybe I could just distract myself like that. I reached over his coffee table and turned the TV on. I fumbled for the channels button, trying to put on something calm. Maybe a cooking show, or a house show, or something like that. And then I stumbled upon a channel I hadn't seen before. The screen was all static. At first, I thought the TV had just lost connection. But even when I fiddled with the remote, nothing changed. When I hit the power button, it didn't turn off. Even though it was static, I could still hear something. But I felt too dizzy. It was hard to listen. There were words. Words? Yeah? That's very... Very... I don't even know. This is worrying. It was almost like I could tell it was talking to me. Like it was trying to tell me something. But even at trying my hardest, I just couldn't focus on it. As if I was in some sort of bizarre dream. It was all hazy, swirling around and around in my head. I just needed to lie. No, and now she's awake. Good morning, sleepyhead. Or, well, evening rather. Reginald? What happened? You fell asleep. What else? You must have been feeling awfully sick. Are you feeling any better? Oh, yes, actually. I think so. I was feeling a little better. My head still hurt, but I wasn't anywhere near as dizzy as I was before. I'm glad your nap helped you then. Unfortunately, I had to dump your tea. You got a bit too cold. But I have no problem making you another cup if you'd like. Oh, that's alright. Hey, wait. The TV? Did you hear it earlier? Hmm? Hear what? The TV. It was making a bunch of static noise. How do you mean? It was off when I came over to sit down with you. Oh. I must have just been dreaming then. Sorry for falling asleep on your couch. I didn't mean to. Why are you apologizing? You're feeling sick. It's quite alright. I'm sure you would let me do the same if our situations were reversed. Wait. You said good evening earlier. What time is it? I checked the time. Oh, goodness. It was getting so late. Was I really asleep that long? I stood up from Reginald's couch and told him I really ought to get going. I thanked him once again for helping me so much. Of course. Hopefully we can see each other again soon. Maybe at a time when you aren't feeling so sick. I made my way quickly and carefully down the stairs, hoping to catch the next bus on time. I noticed the closer I got to the bottom, the more it started to smell. It was less than pleasant. I guess that's what the neighbor lady wanted to ask Reginald about. Reginald got pretty mad at her, didn't he? I tried not to let it affect my opinion of him too much. After all, it sounded like he was really worried about me. If I looked as sick as I felt, then, well, I'd be worried too. Luckily, I caught the bus on time. Got on, got on safe, walked home safe, made it home safe. And then, followed my usual routine after that. I'd like to go to bed quickly tonight if that's alright. That's alright. You are never under obligation to contact me every night. I know, but I feel like I have to. Do you? I do. Why is that? Because if I don't what? If I don't what? Hmm, I'm scared you'll stop responding. Is that so? If you disappear, I think that'd be awful. To never know what happened. I see. Then I will try not to. Didn't you say you'd like to go to bed quickly? Why don't you get some rest? Good night, Mary. The next days following, I didn't feel so great. I must have caught something that day, but I wasn't aware there was anything going around. Maybe it was just a bad cold? I don't know. I just couldn't help but feel so sick. It wasn't as extreme as the first day, but I still felt so horrible. I was so terribly dizzy. My head was always throbbing, and I could try to just snap it off. I would try to just snap it off, but I couldn't stay asleep for long. Though sometimes I would just pass out anyways. I just wish I knew why I was sick. This is, this is a freaking issue. Like, she's vomiting black stuff. She's only vomited once so far, but still. I prefer she didn't vomit at all. What could it be? I mean, we haven't digested anything as far as I remember. No? Like, I have no clue what it could possibly be. 'Cause I'm thinking, well, like, the obvious suspect is Reginald fed us something weird, but I don't think we've gone out to eat with him, like, ever. So, and we didn't drink any of his, so there wasn't anything in there either that could have possibly been put in us. Everything is so odd, so strange. I don't know what to think about it. Don't know what to think about it. I didn't really want to go to the doctor, like to like work properly. I didn't want to go to the doctor just yet. Hopefully, if I waited a while, it would just pass on its own. That's usually how it works, anyways. So here I'll sit. I hope I'll have the energy in me to get up later. Just sitting here, I'm not feeling too hot. I heard familiar footsteps thump down the stairs and turn into this room. Mars? You awake? Yeah, I'm up. Okay, just wanted to make sure. I'm going to head out for a little, alright? What? It's just for a little, okay? I'll be back before you know it. Orvin, please don't leave. I'm... I'm sick. I know, Mary, I know. This is important, alright? What if I need something? What if I pass out again? Come on, Mars, you're not that bad. Besides... Besides, he says. Besides, it's not like Not like I could really do much for you. I, I don't like to be left alone when I'm sick. I know, but like I said, this is important. It's more important than me? Mars, you really need me to say that badly. Okay, now this feels like an important decision. Uh, I think we could ask him to stay. There's a lot of shenanigans going on. It would mean a lot to me. Uh, alright, I'll stay. You really are that sick, huh? I'm really sorry. I don't want to. I feel a lot better knowing you're here. Oh no, it's alright. I understand. You always care for me when I'm sick and all. Staying is the least I could do. How do you feel right now? I don't know. It could be better. Alright. Here, I'll be right back. Corbin walked into the direction of the kitchen. I heard a bit of rattling shortly after. I was a bit worried, knowing Croven isn't always super reliable. But I was pleasantly surprised when he came back out, and passed a warm mug into my hands. Croven? Made this? Yeah, it's nothing special. Just followed the instructions on the box. It's hot chocolate. I found it way back in the pantry, and I know how much you love chocolate, so it's like it like might be expired though. I don't really know how that stuff works. The milk is still fresh though, so I think it'll be fine. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, whatever. Like I said, it was nothing. Anything for you, Mars. Before I knew it, the sun started to set outside, and so I trudged my way upstairs, ready for bed. I hoped I'd be able to sleep the whole night this time. Of course, it couldn't just be that simple. Even in my sick state, I still had to talk to, well, you know. I know you want to message me. Oh? You've beaten me to the punch. You mentioned you were feeling unwell the other night. So please, give tonight a rest and go to bed. I might actually listen to you for once. Do take care if it gets too serious. I will. Please do. We worry about you. Good night, Mary. They say. It's been a few days. I'm feeling a lot better. So I'm glad I didn't catch anything too serious. But how sick I felt really got me wondering, especially with that coffin. There was something about it. I had to know more, although it was too late for me to get to it now. But I was overcome with this desire to know what had been making me feel so strange about it. Uh, sorry, my brain's doing a weird thing. Bleh. Let me check on some few things. Casual checkup of of things? Question mark. Okay, all is good. Even if I couldn't get to the coffin again, there was still a place I could go to. I found myself back at that church. I felt uneasy walking in, but I didn't feel sick anymore. The atmosphere in here was no longer heavy, at least not as heavy as it had been before. I still felt some sense of pressure, but it was nowhere near as bad as it had been. It didn't feel great to walk into a church and immediately feel like something was wrong. There had to be someone I could talk to in here. I walked through the halls. There was no services today, so there was nobody really. I wondered about the long halls with their tall walls. Something about walking through a building like this deafeningly silent and feeling a sense of pressure. Well, it didn't feel quite right. Eventually, though, I I made it to a room with someone in it. A priest standing at the far end. Getting closer, I recognized him as the same from the funeral service. Maybe they could help me then. I lightly coughed as I approached closer to alert them of my presence. They looked up to speak to me. Ah, may I help you? Oh, yes, actually. I just, hard to explain, but, I don't know. I just need some help. Help is here for you. Help is here for you. What do you need help with? Well, I was here for a funeral service not long ago. When I was here, I started feeling not that great. Now I don't feel like I think I should. And, well, my life in general. Taking the best of turns lately. I just. I'm sorry. I'm sure this is really stupid. I guess I'm wondering. Questions and questions. Another save? Let me drink some more tea. Oh man, I barely realized we were at the end of stream time. I suppose we'll have to leave this for the next time around. Because by golly, I got things to do. The mystery continues and is very different from the last run, the last little bit of the game when you were following Twyla around. With Twyla, we discovered we can sleep and just contact ghosts and whatnot. It may still be the same this time around, but I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. Since nothing sleep related has occurred. Anyways. Just a weird feeling and then vomiting and whatnot, which isn't any better. I mean, the whole falling asleep and being in the ghost realm thing was a hell of a lot better than this, because at least with that, it worked as a kind of superpower, I guess. You know, you could contact the dead, talk to him, sometimes even find clues. I still remember that Mary found like an antifreeze thing inside of that old guy's refrigerator in his house. So who knows? Who knows what will what will come of this? Because I surely do not know. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I shall bid you farewell. I hope you all have a great rest of your mornings, afternoons, evenings, and nights. VOD watchers, lurkers, and everybody that was here during the stream for as long or short as you were. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope the gods give you their blessings and may the stars shine in your honor. Bye bye.